All right, one of the biggest things that our students ask us is, which holster should I get? People come to class and they have holsters that are horrendous and we won't even let them use them because they're dangerous, they're not for their gun, they picked it up at a gun show and it just looked cool and they didn't even know what they were buying. So today, Sang and I are going to talk about what's the best holster for concealed carry and why. We're going to demonstrate a variety of holsters. We're going to talk about materials,
pros and cons.
Pros and cons for sure, where to carry it on your body. Sang's a appendix guy. I'm a 4 o'clock kind of guy. Part of it is like God gave us different things in different places. I don't have any more room up front to put a gun, if you follow me. So let's get right to it.
I'm just gonna run my Kydex holster. You can run it appendix or you can run it at the 4 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock, whatever they want to call it. Concealability, because it's inside the waistband, it blends, it won't print as much as outside the waistband. We're gonna do inside the waistband, Kydex holster with a Glock 19.
All right, so we have a Kydex inside the waistband holster. What we like about these is they are as sleek as possible, so you're taking up as little real estate inside your pants as possible. Simple retention control right here. Tighten the screw, loosen the screw. This clips over the belt. You can move this thing from the 4 o'clock position to the appendix position or anywhere in between. Being Kydex, it's pretty much indestructible except for high heat. Body sweat, things like that are not going to affect it. This is the failure point on most of these holsters, is the clip. This happens to be a very good one that Sang chose to use on here.
All right, so now I'm gonna run the Serpa or the Glock 19 outside the waistband at the 3 o'clock position. As you can see, it's not as concealable, it prints a lot more than inside the waistband.
So this is the famous Serpa from Black Hawk. This is your retention. So we're calling this type of holster level 2 retention. In order to release the weapon from this, you need to place your finger onto the toggle. This actually puts your finger right in the proper index point as the gun is removed from the holster. You can get these with pancake, you can get them with the belt loops, you can get them with all different kinds of attachments. Very popular in law enforcement circles.
Safariland ALS outside the waistband with my light jacket on. I think it does a pretty good job of concealing. Although, if the jacket was to tighten up, or if I was to bend over, it might expose it. This has thumb retention. Glock 19, here we go.
Safariland ALS, you have a thumb catch that needs to be depressed. The firearm is secure until you depress that thumb lever. That actually puts you in a good position for your master grip when the gun is drawn. This particular one has a mimic suede material on the inside, which is nice. The rest of the holster manufactured out of very heavy ABS plastic, but I could be incorrect on that.
We're now running a neoprene inside the waistband holster for a 38 special. Got this in the appendix position. So with my jacket on, it does a fairly good job of concealing. Here's the problem. How do I get it back in there? I'm not going to do it. That's the problem with these things.
One of our scariest holsters. This is just a simple neoprene cloth holster. Sorry, Black Hawk, we know that you sell these. The problem with these is in order to get the gun in and out, you have to physically be holding it. If this thing is inside your waistband, it's clamped shut. So you're pointing a loaded gun at your hand to get the gun in. We have cleared all these weapons beforehand. This is about as simple and as cheap as it gets. I believe they belong in the garbage.
It's now the opposite. I've got a Kydex inside the waistband for the same revolver. Does a very good job in the appendix position. and I can reholster.
Kydex holster, this is from our friend at Vetters down in Florida. Wonderful people. If you go on their website, there is a discount. Carry Trainer is the code, and they will provide you a holster. I believe a 10% discount. This has the same features as the other Kydex that we talked about, meaning its durability, retention screws here because this is a revolver. Vetters has since changed the belt clip on this to a newer model made out of another type of more durable plastic. What we like about this versus that neoprene though is it allows us a one-hand holster, which is imperative for concealed carry.
So now we're running a Kydex speed rig. This can be used for IDPA, USPSA kind of competitions. Also has good retention, so there's no reason that you could not use this in an outside the waistband capacity under a long shirt or jacket like I'm doing here. Does a pretty good job. The nice thing about this is it's very fast and you can reholster it.
The pros and cons with this, the retention is held by 2 screws that you have to set on your own. There's no retention device, there's no thumb, there's no ALS, there's no hood on it. So it's really quick.
This is a competition style rig. This one's from Blade Tech. Very limited retention. It can be set pretty tight. I've had this on where I can do jumping jacks and skip rope and it will hold. This is a straight drop holster. It's got the pancakes for you to put inside your pants so you're not having to take your belt on and off. This is actually a great holster for classes and such, but as you know, we like to tell you to carry and train with the same holster. Don't go to class or to a shoot with one holster and then carry another. That doesn't make sense. These are very nice tight fit. If you have a sport coat on, this baby gets up nice and tight. Again, all of the benefits of plastic.
4 o'clock carry, you got good concealment here. Reholster.
Beautiful leather inside the waistband holster. This is from our friends down at Pure Custom in Arizona. Pure Custom. Good guys, great holster. Not cheap, but you get what you pay for. Very form-fitting, fits nicely. He has a system that he's able to keep the leather very stiff. It's got a totally different feeling than Kydex. It wraps to your body very nicely. The problem is over time, these things absorb all kinds of oils and sweat. It just depends on your preference. Kydex has kind of taken over the world, but I'm still a little bit old school and I enjoy the leather.
Outside the waistband Kydex holster. These pancake holsters, very popular these days. They're tight fitting to the body, so they allow good concealment. There's a lot of material with these things though, so think about it before you buy one. They take up a lot of real estate on the outside of you, but they do allow for good concealability and a good draw stroke. And of course, because they're Kydex, they stay wide open for a good reholster.
These things were hugely popular for a few years. Everybody bending Kydex in the world started making these things, and we're not huge fans of them. This is an outside the waistband rig because there's just so much extra material that we don't feel needs to be there. So you've got all this extra plastic on you versus what we were showing you with the inside the waistband. But again, it depends on your mode of carry. And then we've got all kinds of hybrid holsters on the market. These were trying to fill a void between the leather guys and the Kydex guys, and I personally don't see the need. When we looked at the other inside the waistband holsters, there's just a lot less material. I've tried to carry these. What I find is they're almost too close to your body where you're not able to get a good master grip. I'm sure the manufacturers of these would argue, but you just got all of this material contacting your body versus those smaller inside the waistband holsters that we showed you. This is about as simplistic as it gets. This is an outside the waistband holster. A friend of mine, Deputy, this is a holster that he carried for a long time. It's about as minimal as you can possibly get. What don't I like about this? The muzzle's exposed. Your firearm can actually be pushed out of the holster. Did you see that? I just used my index finger and was able to push the gun out of the holster, so you have to be very cognizant of your weapon. You sit down in a chair and that exposed muzzle can be pushed right out of the holster. Also, your muzzle is exposed to dings and dirt. If you hurt the crown of the barrel, you can actually injure the gun and really affect its accuracy. Your sight's exposed, so that could get knocked out of alignment. Depending on what you do though, if you're in a suit all day long and you're not doing a lot of sitting, this is a very minimal way to carry. We've got one more of these minimalistic outside the waistband leather holsters. Again, this one has a thumb strap on it, so you now have the issue solved of the exposed muzzle pushing the gun out of the holster, but you still have the other issues of the exposed muzzle getting smacked into things and such. You got that thumb brake on here, so you have a little bit of retention to keep the gun locked in. With a 1911, you're actually, it's a level of safety because now you're impeding the hammer from forward movement with that thumb strap. So we showed you the holsters on the range, we showed you how we draw from them, the different body placements. There's others, you got shoulder rigs, you got ankle rigs. Both of those are gonna be for more experienced guys, wouldn't you think? Very specialty situations. Most of what you're gonna see is gonna be a waistband type holster, especially if you're new to this. Don't start out shoving a holster into your ankle. Don't start out carrying something in your armpit or bra. We want you to learn how to work these things from a good, safe location where you're not pointing things behind you and all over the place to get them holstered. We covered that you need to be able to reholster, right? Saying, what do you think about a situation where you had to deploy the weapon and you now need to reholster? Why is that important?
You don't want to be using two hands to reholster or covering yourself because you have to. If you have a collapsible, for example, some of these, they will collapse on you when they're in the pants. You don't want that. It's a dangerous thing.
What about like when the cops show up if you can't put that gun back in the holster?
Yeah. First of all, we don't do any speed reholstering. The last thing you want to do if the police do show up is make really quick movements. And you want to be able to do it one hand without making a lot of quick motions and losing yourself.
Imagine if you're holding a child in your hand and you had the gun in the other and you got one of these holsters that you need to be able to spread open. We want a holster that we can safely put our pistol back in the holster. You know, after this this video shoot, I noticed we've got a bunch of these. A lot of these come from students that come to our class and they realize that the holster that they bought is a piece of that is not usable for street use. So we thought we'd show you where we're going to put these. And this is it right here. You know, all of these are kind of just useless. Sorry to the manufacturers. I think what they're doing is trying to fill a void for cheap product that they know people don't know what they need and they want to buy this stuff and they're downright dangerous.
And this is your life or the life of one of your loved ones. Don't skimp out.
Don't. Even if you're talking 50 or 100 bucks for a good holster, you've already spent 4, 5, 6, 700 bucks on a gun. Another 50 or 100 bucks for a quality holster is well worth it. This is Mickey and Sang from CarryTrainer.com. Like our videos, subscribe to them. We really want you to forward these on to your friends that care about the same things we care about. We want to get this information in front of as many people as possible so we stop having people showing up on the range with crap like this. Stay safe, train hard. You're gonna show your shit, you're gonna conceal it, you're gonna draw, you're gonna shoot. I thought that was funny. Got no more room up front. My mother's gonna be like, "What is wrong with you?" It's very comfortable. This is a $375 leather holster.
That's crazy.
It's very crazy. Let's see, it holds its shape.
Ah, sing-a-ringo, you thinking you'll break down the notes.
So you said you had high speed. What's that? Yeah. Is that pretty high speed?
You have to, with leather like this, take a water bottle and mist it, and then just let it sit, and it's rock hard again. So it's a maintenance thing too. All right, are we ready?
Little squeeze.
We're gonna talk, little intro here. We're gonna talk about, we're all ready? Everything we do here is about concealed carry though. So, you know, we're not talking about duty holsters and things of that nature.